Hello again, welcome back everyone. Liquorhound here with you. Thank you for joining me for another spirit review video. And today I wanted to review Cazadores line of tequilas. Now, Cazadores has been around for a very long time. Matter of fact, they introduced this Reposado many years back. And that was kind of strange because at the time they did not have the Blanco or the Añejo. They just came out with the Reposado. And it was a massive seller in Mexico. So when I was down there, tasted it, fell in love with it. And so I picked up this giant bottle, and it has not disappointed. All right, it is fabulous. All right, so then slowly they released the Blanco. I added that one. They added the Añejo, and here we have this. And now they most recently added an extra Añejo. It's a limited edition, and I have tasted it, but I didn't quite, I don't know, I wasn't in love with it, so I did not add it to the collection. I felt that that one may be a little too overwooded for my palate, and so I just haven't gotten around to spending the money on it yet. All right. Now let's talk about the aging real quick. The Blanco is, of course, no age here. It's straight out of the still, brought down to proof, and bottled. The Cazadores Reposado is just over 2 months of age, and the Añejo is just over 1 year of aging. Now those two are on the very minimum requirements for each category. Reposado 2 months or older, Añejo 1 to 3 year, roughly in there. And so even though they're just barely making that limit, that has no effect on the quality of these tequilas, okay? Very nice quality for a very moderately priced tequila. And when I say moderately priced, I'm talking around $40, 30, 40, 50, let's say. I think the Extra Añejo is coming out, and that one, I think, if I remember correctly, was right around $80. But let's go ahead and get to the nosing, and then we'll get to the tasting. First with the Blanco. Wow, really nice fresh agave. It does feel very sweet on the aromatic, sweet, fresh agave, some floral notes, and a fair amount of yeast, or you can almost smell that fermented piña coming through on the distillate. It almost has a vegetal or a doughy feel to it. Very nice. Reposado. The Reposado, 2 months of aging. Really nice there. That one gives me, when I nose that one, it almost feels like the element of the fresh agave here, but with a really buttery note to it as well. The sweetness that I was getting here, mixed with the slight barrel aging that you're getting here, is almost a mixture of the caramel sweetness with the fresh agave sweetness, so almost the wood sugars mingling with the sweetness of that agave here on the nose. Still feels very clean smelling. Some floral notes coming through as well, but I'm starting to lose a little bit of that doughiness that I was finding here. A little bit of that fermentation is not quite making it through the 2 months of barrel aging. All right, now onto the Añejo, 1 year. Picking up more mint here. The agave is no longer smelling as fresh. It's starting to smell like a cooked agave. The mint coming from the barrel. I'm searching for the floralness. I'm searching for all the aromatics I was getting in the other two here. But really what I'm only finding is the cooked agave, that mint, and then a nice, what is it? A nice medium sweet barrel oak coming through. I don't know if that's good because I'm losing that agave, and I don't want to do that there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the actual tasting of the Blanco. Wow. Fantastic Blanco. This one, very soft. Medium sweet on the palate. Definitely nothing like Glace Azul. I don't know what... There's not very many that are, but that's a really sweet Blanco. This one is just like a nice medium amount of sweetness. Agave, feeling very fresh. That vegetal nose is coming through on the palate. Strangely, as it enters the mouth and it rolls down, you're not getting the agave right away. It actually comes in around the mid palate when the fresh agave comes in. And then you're also getting a little bit of spices in with it as well. Spices kind of actually, they don't get hot, but they do kind of build and stay level throughout the finish, adding a little bit of warmth to that long finish. And that's actually where the doughiness or that yeast flavor is coming on, is also into the finish. Here I am a few seconds after, and we're still tasting the agave. I'm still tasting the yeast. I'm still feeling it's, like I said, sweet agave, and it does have that vegetable note coming through even into the finish. Very, very nice because it's not hot. No alcohol, discernible alcohol on the palate. Now we're going to go to the Reposado. Okay. Wow. Wow. Fantastic, as usual. It's just as soft as this guy. But now we're starting to lose that vegetal note. The freshness of that agave is starting to become a little more cooked. It's almost like a perfect balance of some fresh agave and some cooked agave. You're also getting, as it rolls into the mid palate, the spice is there, but it's not nearly as warm as this one was. And you're starting to get the barrel sugars, definitely starting to add a little bit of caramel as well. The strange thing about this one, and I'm not going to say it's strange in a bad way, it's actually a great thing, is as we get into the mid palate, where the agave, same thing here, kind of came and made its presence known around mid palate, you're getting a ton of, to me, like a clover honey or a wildflower honey, because you're getting the floral elements that I was kind of picking up here, but they're definitely in this one, but it feels honeyed. Wow, that one's lovely. Yep, clover honey, and then going into the finish, the agave is still all lingering. Honey still lingering through into that finish. I'm trying to find the barrel, and I'm not really finding that really heavy oak. It's very, very minimal in the background. It's mostly lending just the caramel and that sweet, I guess that burnt brown sugar, that when you're starting to feel like a little honey, that's what that's lending, but it's not lending any of the tannins. So I'm not getting that heavy oak feel by no means, which we will probably find here in this Añejo after a year of aging. Wow. Not bad. It's not... Right there at the mid-palate, strange. Wow. I think it has to do with the distillation times. This one is this is a few years old here. This is about a year and a half old, and this one's fairly new. But the one thing I noticed immediately was, and I say fairly new, it's within the last year. This one, as it enters, it has about the same viscosity of this one, which was a little more than the Blanco. The Blanco was not thin, it was a medium viscosity, but this one you're starting to feel that barrel start to lend a little bit of oil. And this one, it's about the same. The difference is, as it enters and goes down, and that agave should start coming in, it's strictly like a cooked agave to me on this one. And when the cooked agave comes in, there's also a little bit of alcohol coming through, which is strange because it did not do it on the Reposado or the Blanco. But here, I get that warmth of the alcohol, I taste the alcohol, the distillate, and then the oak kind of comes in to match up with that really fair amount of cooked agave, and also mint. The mint comes in mid-palate, and then you roll into the oak. Now, it's not drying, it's not over-oaked, I wouldn't call it. But I lost the butteriness, the sweet caramel that I was getting here, the sweet fresh agave with a little bit of cooked agave. Here it's just feeling cooked agave, it's not buttery. A little bit of mint. Now I can definitely taste that barrel. You can taste those staves coming onto the finish. So overall, while this is a really nice aged tequila, it's not the best of the three. To me, easily the best of the three is the Reposado, followed by the Blanco, and then the Añejo. But if you like really heavily oaked Añejos, then by no means, by all means, you should try the Añejo, and probably the extra Añejo for that matter. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for all the great comments. Everybody have a great evening, and cheers.